Thank you. Arman, I think for this particular topic, your expertise is going to be really useful. How do you think this, not only this collaboration, but bridging the divide via collaboration and other examples, alternatives, is going to solve the problems for the lower middle income persons? What are the benefits they're going to get from this?
Thank you, Prescott, for the question, and very good morning to the audience. So, I come from a country which is the Silicon Valley for social business. It's called Bangladesh. And in the school of fintech, we are still at the kindergarten. And we are still learning. And it's just in 2024, we have the mandate of going into digital banking. So you can understand how many areas we are behind. And having said that, we have a population of 160 million. Out of that, 60 million are still unbanked. So those of you who are here want to come with digital bank solution, talk to me right away because we are getting into that area. But nevertheless, we have a country which is very much centralized. Like everything is centralized towards the capital, and out of that, almost 90% of the country is actually in very much, I would say, disconnected. So a lot of people actually depend on the mobile financial services. And this is a very interesting case we have. Let me just share a story with you. Like I was saying that we are the Silicon Valley for social business, right? So there is an organization called BRAC. And BRAC is the largest NGO in the world, and they have a huge network of microcredit services. So they have a bank, they have a traditional bank as well. On top of that, they actually, on the microcredit network, they have established the MFS network. So now they become the world's one of the leading MFS services called bKash, and which was actually founded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well. So this has become a problem solver for many of the rural people because they don't understand all this documentation. They don't have the trust. There are cultural hurdles because we're an Islamic country. They think the interest and all that, that's why it's bad. It's taboo. They shouldn't go to bank. So the MFS services have become very much easy life for them. See, and for these people, they do a lot of transactions through MFS. And there are a lot of immigrants living abroad, and they're also sending the money through these channels. So once we actually step into the digital banking, that's another change of lifestyle for them, because then they can actually start the depositing and the lending and all other banking facilities can come in. So that's where we feel that the digital bank will enhance their lifestyle in a great deal. A funny story, if I may share with you. So during the Hari Hajj, we have the cattle markets, right? And for the years and years, the cattle market has been traded through all hard cash. After pandemic, we had a very cashless society in all the cattle markets. So this was something very new, and these people who came from rural area, they didn't have to carry a bundle of cash and go back to the villages. They were just sending the cash in and out. So this was a huge change for them. But nevertheless, when there is lack of literacy, there needs to be a lot of awareness and all that needs to be there to educate them. Otherwise, there can be a lot of disasters as well. So, yeah.
Ahmed, I feel like this speaks particularly to you.